All right, try this one more time. So, welcome, this is 6.1. We're going to be graphing using our graphing calculators. So please make sure you get one, whether you rent, buy, or borrow. I'm not going to let you use it in class using your phone, or definitely not on a test. So please make sure you figure out how to get one. Come and talk to me if you have concerns. We can figure out a way to get you one, okay? All right, so this is our calendar. We're going to do 4 lessons. Oops, sorry. And then we're going to review, and we'll take the test on either the 21st or 22nd, depending on if you're A day or B day. One thing you'll want to notice is that this is what I've always done, but I've been a little lax on this, but the due day or the dead day for this unit, is test day. So make sure you turn everything in before then. If you're going to be missing that day on the test, make sure you submit everything on Canvas on time, okay? All right, so this is what we're covering. This video is for those that have TIs. If you're not using a TI and you're using a Casio, then I have a second video for that. So you can skip from here and go on if you need to. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is to reset your calculator. If you don't, then oftentimes you won't be doing the same thing that we're doing, or sometimes there's just issues. So how to do that is we'll turn it on, and then we'll go to, let me go back to, this is what yours probably looks like. We'll click on second plus, which is, if you look at that, is memory. So we'll click on that, and then it says 7, 1, 2. So 7 does reset, 1 does all RAM, and then 2 is reset. And it will reset everything so that we're all on the same page, okay? If you come in other issues, you're also welcome to do second plus 7 and do 1, all RAM. Wait, was that what I did? I don't know. 7, 1, 2. Yeah, that's what I want you to do, okay? And then if you want to graph, okay, the next thing it asks you to do is to graph this function, y equals x squared plus 3x minus 12. And it says you can graph by pressing the button y equals. So that's here at the top right. And this is where you'll plug in any of your equations. So here you have plenty of different equation places that you can plug in. We're really only going to use 1 or 2 at a time. So for our first equation, we'll plug in x squared. If you're using a variable, you're going to use this button where it has xt theta n. That's your variable button. We'll square it over here. And then we'll do plus 3x minus, make sure you do subtraction, not negative, okay? So minus 12, push enter, and then to graph, we'll press this button that says graph. So yours should look exactly like mine if you cleared off your settings first thing, okay? Notice that we can see our X-Intercepts, but we can't see our Y-Intercept or our Vertex. So our next thing it says is to adjust our window. To do that, we'll click on the button that says window. Okay, it says X-min is -10, X-max is 10, Y-min is -10, and Y-max is 10. So this is talking about your window, not like your domain or range or anything. So we look at it, if you go back to your graph, you can see this goes from -10 to 10 and -10 to 10. So we need to find our Y value to be lower than -10. So I'll go back to window, scroll down to Y minimum, which it says is -10. Maybe we'll do -20. Push enter and press graph again. And that changes your window so you can see the vertex. You can also do other things with like zooming. You can zoom in or out. If you go down to here, there's zoom fit, which I don't really like, but in a pinch you could do that. Sometimes it makes the window way too big. Okay, so we have our graph. Next it says they want us to find the vertex. So a lot of these features are going to be in this place called, where you click on second and you do, well, it's trace is calc. So second trace gives you calc, second trace. And then here are all of the things you can calculate here. You can calculate value, any value you could find, zeros, max or minimum. So when we're trying to find vertex, that's what these are, is either maximum or minimum. So looking at your graph again, this is your minimum. So if you want to find the vertex, you're going to choose minimum. If the graph was concave down, then we'd want to choose max. So to find click on minimum, you'll just press 3, or you can scroll down to 3. Either way, push enter, and it asks you to find what is the left bound. So basically, they want us to find a point that is left of your vertex. So I moved it there, and I push enter, and then it says right bound. So we press over, maybe here, and then it says guess. So we'll want to move our cursor one more time, somewhere between those two, and put in our guess. And it gives you the minimum. So this is our vertex, negative 1.5, comma, negative 14.25. And we can write that down here on our notes. Okay, next it says find the Y-intercept. So if we went to second trace and then do our calc, the thing you're going to choose here is number 1, value. So if you click on that, it does x equals something. So we want to plug in an x, and it will give you a y. So if we're trying to find this y-intercept, what do we know about the x value? Well, the x value here is 0. So we'd plug in 0, enter, and it will give you your y-intercept. So 0, negative 12. Okay. Again, feel free to go back if you missed something, or send me an email and I can help you out. Okay. Next, they want us to find a y value of the function where x equals 7. So again, we'll do the same sort of thing. We already have it set up where we can now just plug in 7. We'll say x equals 7, enter, and it will give us a y value of 58. So 7, 58. So you can do that whenever they're asking for a specific or I guess random point. You could do it anytime. All right, now we're at number 7, find the x-intercepts. Sorry, I hope my graphing calculator doesn't go off the screen. Okay, so x-intercepts. One thing that you should notice is that there's a few terms that all mean the same thing. So x-intercepts is what we often call it, but also we have roots, solutions, or zeros. So TIs use the word zeros, Casios use roots. So when you go second trace and find calculate, number 2 is your choice that you want to find x-intercepts, is your zeros. So you can go down and push enter, and it does the same thing, left bound, right bound, guess. So we're going to use our cursor, which here is kind of far on the right. You can kind of see where the x value is here, and I'm moving it over. So this is left of our x-intercept, right of the x-intercept, and then our guess. So our 0 is, or our x-intercept is 2.27, comma 0. And just, if you have a number that's really big, like decimals really big, just round to the hundredths place. And you'll need to do it again for the other one as well. So second trace, we'll go to 0, and we'll do left bound. So now we use our cursor to come all the way over to the other side. You can also just enter an x value that is left of it. So there's left of it, right of it, and then my guess somewhere between, and that's what we get. Negative 5.27, comma 0 would be your other x-intercept. Okay, and then we have filling out a table. So using this same function. One way you could do is you could use trace second trace and do value, and then you could just plug in -2 and it will give you your y value. An easier way to do this is right above graph it says table. You press second graph and it will fill in a table, but all of them are like kind of these integer numbers that are perfect, that are I guess whole numbers. If you're trying to find something specific, then you'll probably just want to use second calc and then do value. But here you can press up and you can see these negative values. We can plug in this whole, write down all this information. Okay. If you want to go back to your graph, just press graph. If you want to go back to your equation, press y equals. Okay. And last but not least, graph another function, y equals x plus 1. So this is a linear equation. So now you should have 2. So to do this, we'll go back to y equals, and we'll scroll down to y2, and we'll plug in our equation. So x plus 1, and then we'll press graph. And now it will plot the other equation. And they're asking, find where they intersect. So where they cross each other. So there's one right here, and there's one right here. So to find those, again, we'll use second trace. And here, number 5 is intersect. So you can press 5, and it says first curve. So for these, since we only have 2 curves, I mean, you can push up or down and it will swap between the 2 equations, and it will show these equations up at the top. So those 2 equations, you're just going to choose one of them, it doesn't matter, and it will automatically choose the second one because that's your only other choice. And then it says your guess. So you'll use your cursor to somewhere around your where they intersect, and press enter. So that's one of our intersections, 2.74, 3.74, and then you need to do that one more time to get to this this intersection. So second trace, and we'll go to 5. This time we'll, well, it says first curve, second curve, enter, and then we'll go to the other side where they intersect. So press over a bunch of times, guess. The other is -4.74, comma -3.74. Okay? And we'll just write those down. Your homework is going to be very similar. It's not going to be spread out just like this. It's just going to say, plug in this equation and find the X-intercepts, find the Y-intercept, find where they intersect, things like that. If you have any questions on those, please let me know and I'll help you out. Come before or after school would be great. And that's about it. Okay? So just again, I think I went over everything. Okay? We'll see you guys.